श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। We have been looking at the main topics in the 4th chapter. Then, towards the end, particularly from the 25th to the 34th verse, we have the Lord Krishna establishing the superiority of knowledge over all other sadhanas. For what? Atma-jnanam. All the sadhanas and knowledge, meaning Shravanam, listening to Vedanta Shastra, there is a difference. There is a difference between all the sadhanas that we can have for Atma-jnanam and the pursuit of knowledge directly through Shravanam itself. What is the difference? The other branches of sadhana are based on karma. Knowledge, the pursuit of knowledge is not based on karma. That is the main and primary and only difference. That's the only difference. So, for the removal of ajnanam, Shravanam is the mukhya sadhanam. Mukhya means the primary sadhana is Shravanam. In fact, it's the only sadhana. In fact, even though people keep asking what kind of sadhana must I do, people discount the fact that sitting here several times a day for 1 hour, that is itself sadhana. That's a very important sadhana. We cannot discount it. But there is a difference between this sadhana and the other sadhanas that are touted, such as pranayama. Pranayama is also an important sadhana, but important for what we shall see. And then we have Shama, Dama, Uparati, Titiksha, Shraddha. All these are discussed. And they are all sadhanas. But for what? What are these sadhanas for? And what is their characteristics? We have to understand very quickly, very deeply, because we have already seen it, but we are looking at it from a very important standpoint, because the more we put off this difference, the harder it would be to catch on or latch on to Atma-jnanam as the only sadhana for self-knowledge. That's why we have to understand it quickly. That's why in the 4th chapter, from verses 25 to 27, this is another topic. What is the topic? The importance of jnanam, Atma-jnanam, as a sadhana for understanding the truth of oneself as Brahman. The other sadhana like yoga, pranayama, what else? And so many other things. And so many things here, those sadhanas are called yajnas, because some sacrifice is involved. Niyatahara sadhana, That is niyatahara yajna. Niyatahara means I'm going to eat only this much. There are certain anushtanas. Anushtanas means certain vows that people take, that this is what I'm going to do. Sometimes people say, I will eat. There is some kind of very terrible kinds of sadhanas, one of which is called Chandrayana. Chandrayana is a 1 month long food-based sadhana. And what does it do? You start with the full moon and you divide whatever you eat into 15 bites of food. And then you eat it. Eat all 15 bites. And then after the full moon, what happens? The waning starts. So the food also starts to wane. Next day you eat 14 bites, 13, 12, and then what? 4, 3, 2, 1, and then on Amavasya day, 0. Till then somehow people are able to manage. But then what is excruciating is that on the first moon day, only 1 bite. And then 2, 3, 4, and after 1 month you come up to 15. This is a very powerful prayaschitta karma. This is also a sadhana. Then there is various kinds of pranayama, there is various kinds of holding postures in yoga, all these things. These are all sadhanas, and all of them are people who do these sadhanas. If they are committed to Atmajnanam, then the sadhanas become a preparation to open the heart, the mind for Atmajnana. The sadhanas, these sadhanas that we have talked about, these means cannot give Atmajnanam directly, but what will they do? They will give a certain kind of a temperament, of a disciplined mind, tamed down ragadveshas, which makes it easier to pursue jnana yajna. It is called yajna because some sacrifice it entails a certain kind of sacrifice. So therefore it is called yajna. So then, according to Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, this Jnana Yajna is the most superior of all. This is the summary of verses 25 to 37. So Jnana Yajna is the most superior of all. The question is why? First is, it's the most direct means to knowledge. Since what separates me from Brahman is not time or space, then what is the separating factor? Self-ignorance is the separating factor. If self-ignorance is the separating factor, what is the solution? Upaya. Self-knowledge is the upaya. It's very simple, but somehow we don't get it. Because the orientation to doing and doership is so much that one keeps on doing, and one feels like one is wasting one's time sitting and studying. And so, therefore, this is talked about very, very beautifully, that all the other sadhanas we are not discounting. They are all exalted, no problem at all. But we have to find out very clearly and cognitively, we have to understand what those sadhanas are for. What does pranayama do? It gives a tranquil mind. That's what it does. So doing pranayama all day, nothing wrong, but don't expect to become a jnani at the end of day 3 of pranayama or even day 300. Nothing will happen, because this jnanam is on a different realm altogether. This is not gaining jnanam, it is removing ajnanam. Removing ajnanam means exposure to what is the correct knowledge, because I have wrong knowledge, that wrong knowledge about myself, about the Jagat, about Ishvara, about everything, and so that wrong knowledge has to be removed, dismissed, and the correct knowledge understood. So therefore Atmajnanam is the direct means of this removal. Is the direct means. We don't discount other sadhanas. Why? Because they are all indirect means to this knowledge. Pranayama tames the ragadveshas. Meditation gives chitta naischalyam. It gives focus and clarity. Clarity means clarity to pursue this knowledge it will give. And then some other things, eating, not obsessing, not eating less, but not obsessing about food all day long. Some people are like that, Every day they will think about, they will get up in the morning thinking about what's for breakfast. Then no sooner breakfast is done, then what's for lunch? Yeah, where is my snack? Tea time snack. And then, where is my dinner? And after dinner also, I'd like to have a glass of milk or something like that. Where is that? So, whatever one eats, how much ever one eats, that's not the issue. The issue is making that into an obsession. And so therefore, not thinking about food so much is a kind of a sadhana. Not really obsessing and thinking about food so much is itself a kind of sadhana, because it takes the attention away from the object of obsession, which is food, so that there is some place to think about Brahman, to think about oneself as the whole. So like that, there are many sadhanas surrounding food, surrounding various kinds of meditation, surrounding the management of the breath, and then seva. Seva is also a sadhana which helps self-growth. But these are all auxiliary means of gaining the knowledge of the self. They are they subserve Shravanam. All of them subserve Shravanam. All of them help one to get to the place of being able to listen. They loosen up all the other things that are there in the heart, in the mind, which are blocking the knowledge, and so they allow one to listen. So verses 25 to 37 talk about some of these sadhanas, and then Bhagavan says that these sadhanas are all glorious, all exalted, no doubt, but really what gives the knowledge is Jnana Yajna. Jnana Yajna is the one that gives the knowledge, and so therefore, and then it has the power of why is Jnana Yajna superior? Jnana Yajna is the most superior because this Yajna is the only one that gives self-knowledge and removes all papa. Every papa associated with the person's account. How many types of karmas are there? 3. Okay? Yeah. What are they? Sanchita. Everything that has been collected. If you ever had a human life, one has endless number of births. Agami, what you are going to do in this life, and then prarabdha, that which has to be exhausted in this life. And so all 3 karmas go in the wake of this knowledge. They are falsified. They are falsified. How can they be falsified? Because the notion I am the doer is falsified. When the karta is falsified, the karma accruing to that person's account is also naturally falsified. It's like a dead person's bank account. The money can't go to them at all. So like that, dead person's bank account. So like that, I am dead to this ignorance. Now, I am no longer thinking that I am the one who is the karta bhokta, because this kartrutvam has been falsified, karta has been falsified. So I am dead to the old ways of being. I am dead to self-ignorance. Therefore, I am dead to karma phala. So that's why it is superior. And so Bhagavan says in verse number 33, Shreyan dravyamayad yajnat Jnana yajnaf parantapa Sarvam karma khilam partha Jnana Jnane parisamapyate. Shreyan means is more superior. Superior than what? Dravyamayad yajnad. More superior to the various sadhanas, sacrifices in the form of sacrifices, which are based on materials. So many materials are there. Food is what? Materials. And then pranayama also working with prana, wind, etc. Again on the material level. And then you do dhanam, seva, all this again material. So the yajnas, the sadhanas that use some material or the other are inferior to jnana yajna. Why? Because jnane sarva karma akhilam karma jnane parisamapyate. Jnane hi parisamapyate. This is how it just goes. It just goes in the wake of the knowledge. All the karma standing in the account goes in the wake of knowledge. Whereas with the other sadhanas, what are you doing? Accruing more karma, gaining punya. That's what you're doing. And even though as a mumukshu and a jignasu, you do need punya, because suddenly some obstacle should not come in the way of the knowledge, but to be a punya-holic is also not very good. Collecting a lot of punya, what will happen? Then one will be born in a golden cage. Oh, but it's a cage. Yeah, but at least it's golden. This is how we have to console ourselves. One will be born in a golden cage. Or for example, one may be born, if it's a lot of punya in one's account, one may be born in a hugely rich family, but no samskaras, no understanding, no preparation, and then no desire for this knowledge is able to come anywhere, at any time. The jignasa, mumuksha does not come near such a person. Lots of money, and you even if you try to spend it, you cannot spend. That much money you can't even imagine. Well, we can imagine, because these days Elon Musk is very much in the news. So, richest man in the whole world. So you can imagine. No matter how much they try to spend, it will not go. This much money. And along with the money, it's not just money, along with the money comes power, comes a certain ahankara. The knowledge, I am the richest person in the whole world, doesn't come lightly. It's a huge thing. So ahankara comes, a certain kind of pride comes, arrogance comes, a sense of entitlement comes. Oh, so rich people cannot get moksha? I did not say that. But being rich is neither a deterrent to moksha, nor does it enable moksha. Money has nothing to do with moksha. It just makes your life comfortable. But what I am saying is that too much punya can become a golden cage, because if it's just richness, that's an objective thing. If it's just one's economic status, that is not a problem. But then usually along with the high economic status goes other things also go with it, which are a debacle as far as the pursuit of knowledge is concerned. What are the things that go with a high income? Sense of entitlement, sense of feeling superior, all these things, pride, arrogance, all these things go along with having a huge bank account. And so therefore, that attitude is not going to help. So therefore, this knowledge, what does this knowledge do? It transforms the person. It does not transform your surroundings. It does not change your economic situation. It does not make all the annoying people in your life go away. Oh, then why am I studying this? It won't make the annoying people in your life go away. It won't make the problems in your life go away. But still we study this. Why? Because it makes me into a person who is no longer annoyed, no matter who is there. Who is no longer down because I have problems. In fact, I'm so relaxed that I can even take a few other people's problems. This is how the knowledge transforms the person. And so, from being a complainer to saying, I don't have enough money, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough leisure, I don't have enough relaxation. The person says, not only I have enough, I am enough. This knowledge shows you that you are enough. You are sufficient, you are Purna. So really, you can't end up fixing the whole Jagat. Can you fix up every annoying person in your life? No. Not at all. Starting with a roommate. You cannot. Okay? You cannot fix up anybody. You cannot tell them, you can tell them, but then are they going to listen? No, they're not going to listen because they have their own way of being. And their own way of being has already been solidified long before you came along. So if you tell them, please do this or please don't do this, they will try to please you, they will try to say yes, yes, but habits don't go, habits die very hard and back to square one after 3 days. So you can't, if you can't, even the family members you cannot change, especially them you cannot change. Yeah, they will be exactly like that. You cannot change mother, you cannot change father, you cannot change siblings, you cannot change relatives, you cannot change friends. How are you going to live in the whole Jagat? If you have a project, I am going to make the Jagat custom made just for me. Custom made Jagat with everything just right. You cannot even change the temperature. Yesterday it was getting so warm, we thought winter is over. And today it is, everybody is in Panchakosha. So you cannot change the weather. You cannot change people. You cannot change even one minute thing around you, you cannot change. Therefore, what should you do? You should change. Yeah, because you cannot change anything else. The only thing you can change is your own viewpoint. The viewpoint is, in the beginning, it's a point of view, pratibhasikam. So in the beginning, everybody has point of view. But then, as one gets exposed to this knowledge and does Shravanam, it becomes the view. A view of no division. This is what it is. It's a vision of no division, which accommodates all divisions and which transcends them as well. So you cannot change you can only complain about everything else, about the Jagat. You cannot change the Jagat. You can only choose, if you choose, to change yourself. And here, you don't even have to change yourself. You just have to choose to be transformed, and the knowledge takes care of transforming you, provided you have an open heart, provided you give it a chance. Like we saw in the morning class, if you are the goalkeeper, then the knowledge won't go in. So I have to stop being the goalkeeper and then allow the knowledge in, and that will take care of the transformation from being stuck to a point of view to understanding the view itself. A point of view is fine as long as one knows the view. If one doesn't have an idea of what the view is, one makes the mistake of taking the point of view for the view. And that is why it is called samsara. The samsara is taking one small viewpoint to be the whole. That is why the Jnana Yajna is more superior to all these other yajnas that have been discussed. Pranayama, this, that, Swadhyaya Yajna, all these things are there. The Samshrita Vrataha, Pranayama Yajna, Niyatahara Yajna, and then all these things, they are, all these are very wonderful yajnas, but Jnana Yajna is the most important. How do you get this Jnana Yajna? Just let us, how do I do this? Let us chant the next verse. Tadvidhi pranipatena परिप्रश्नेन सेवया उपदेक्ष्यन्ति ते ज्ञानम् ज्ञानिनस्तत्त्वदर्शिनः. So, how do I go about, okay, now you have convinced me, I don't, the other yajnas are only going to prepare me for this yajna. I have done the other yajnas long enough, other kinds of vratas, other kinds of sadhanas. How do I go about getting this knowledge? A beautiful verse, number 34. Tad vidhi. Know this. Tat. What is tat? Brahma. Brahma vidhi. Know this Brahman, which is known as tat, that, because it feels to be away from me. Know this Brahman, tad vidhi, how 3 steps are given. Pranipata, pariprashna and seva. Pranipatena tad Brahma, Jagat Karanam Brahma, Ishwaram vidhi. So, tad vidhi pranipatena. Pranipata means falling at the feet. Pranipata. And then next one, pariprashna. Pariprashna means asking pertinent, relevant questions, like the kind we will do tomorrow at satsang time. So, asking relevant questions, pertinent questions. Because the time with the teacher is used in a way that furthers my knowledge. If you go to the teacher and say, let's discuss various kinds of breakfast items in world cuisine, the teacher may comply, no problem. But then, how is it going to further your knowledge? Correct? It doesn't further your pursuit at all. And I would see people who would come to Pujya Swamiji, such a Mahatma, and people would come and want to discuss the weather. And people would come and want to discuss some food item, how it is made or whatever. He was always very genial and very obliging, because he didn't have an agenda of his own. He didn't have anything to talk about, really, and he didn't have anything to ask or anything to gain. So he would just go along with whatever the topic was. Whatever the topic was, he would go along. He would be very gentlemanly and discuss the weather if people wanted to discuss the weather. He would discuss food items if people wanted to discuss food items. If people wanted to discuss the stock market, tathastu, he would discuss that also. But what a waste of time, really. What a waste of a Mahatma. So, this way, pariprashna has this is not pariprashna, discussing useless things all the time. Once in a while it's okay, but useless things all the time, just thinking, okay, what did that one do, what did this one do, and what is happening here, what is happening over there. This may be something that one is obsessed with, but one has to get over that obsession. And a very beautiful way of getting over the obsession is to make the relationship with the teacher strong by only discussing what is really, really pertinent, so that every moment spent with the teacher is furthering my Atma Jnanam. I make good use of the times that are there with the teacher by talking about what is important. The Kathopanishad says, Anya vata vacha pramunchata. Esha amritatvasya setuhu. The bridge to immortality, not with regard to the body, mind, sense complex, but with regard to the understanding the truth of the I as free of death and afflictions. The bridge to immortality is through only talking Vedanta. Only talk Vedanta. Try it for 24 hours, and tomorrow at satsang time, you let me know how it is. Yeah, try it. When other thoughts and talks come up, you just suppress them. Stop talking. And then talk only Vedanta and see how it has affected you. What happens? What kind of a transformation has happened? This we can talk about when tomorrow night at satsang we can talk about. So this is pariprashna. Pariprashna is making full use of the teacher to allow the doubts to surface and to be cleared. And then the last one is what? Seva. As I said, seva is not to the guru. Seva can be to the guru, but really, if 60 people start massaging the poor guru's feet, where will the guru go? Okay? If 60 people start to bring food, where will the guru go? So therefore, we say Gurukula Seva is Guru Seva. So there are other ways of doing Seva as well. So we can just, Seva is a mindset. It is preparing oneself to be alert and active to see what is needed and to do whatever is needed. And that is very, very important. To do whatever is needed, you can see. If there are opportunities for seva, you can see what is needed around the Gurukula, what is needed around the teacher. You see and you make it easy. That's all it is. And so this is the seva also makes the heart grow big. And so tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. Pranipata we haven't talked about much. It is getting vinaya. Vinaya means humility. The bending of the body, it's a humble position, and then the enactment of that humility is hoped that it will bring about humility in the heart. Otherwise, what does one think? I know everything. I don't need to be taught. I already know everything. And so this kind of an attitude is not helpful. And so, therefore, I have to have humility, and the humility comes when I enact the humility. Enacting the humility is important in order to get humility. It's not that you are flattering the teacher by falling at the feet of the teacher. That is not the issue. The teacher doesn't need you to fall at the feet. And that's why the teacher becomes an altar of surrender, especially because the teacher doesn't want you to surrender, does not need you to surrender. The teacher doesn't have an agenda for you to surrender. And so therefore, the second line says, Upadeksyanti te jnanam. They will definitely teach you this knowledge. Who are they? Jnaninaha. Jnaninaha Shrotriya. The one who has gained the knowledge from his teacher, from who gained the knowledge from her teacher, his teacher, her teacher, his teacher, and then Jnaninaha, then Tattvadarshinaha, Brahmanishtha, one who abides in Brahman alone. And so this is the stuti of Atma Jnanam, along with the discussion of how to gain it. So that is this particular portion, 25, what did I say, 24 to 37. Yeah, because then it also says that this Jnanagni, this is a very sweet one, the last portion of 37, Jnanagni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute tatha. So, the fire of knowledge burns through all the karmas. So therefore, one is free of rebirth. One doesn't have to repeat the class called Jiva class, human being class. So what happens sometimes, if the child doesn't study, the teachers will decide to keep her or him back, to keep it back for one more year. So, hoping that by next year the child will memorize things, whatever needs to be memorized, learn whatever needs to be learned, because otherwise if we push the child to the next class, the child will not comprehend anything, because whatever needed to be comprehended this year is itself not been comprehended, what to talk of the next year. So the child is kept back. The jiva is kept back, kept back, kept back, kept back. The jiva is a big fail, okay? Yeah. Why? Because in the last life also did not stop complaining. Therefore, there was this life. In the life before that also did not stop complaining. Therefore, there was last life. In the last life also did not stop complaining. Therefore, there was last life. So like this, the person has not learned. What is it? That there is sadhya sadhana asambandha. There is a discrepancy between the ends that I am employing, the means that I am employing, and the end that I seek in life. What is the end that I seek? To be free of a seeker. To be free of being a seeker. That is the end that I seek. But then, how am I going about it? By keeping on seeking something or the other. By keeping on seeking something or the other, will I get to the end of seeking? No. But still, that is the attachment. That is the wrong understanding. So the wrong sadhana will not lead me to the right end. This has to be understood, and then only there is a release from all karma, so that I don't have to repeat this class all over again. This is the idea. Then verse 35. So then verse 36 and the verse 37 is there. Yeah. The verse 38 and 39 and maybe 42. Yeah. 37 and 38, I think. Yeah, 35. Yeah. Then 38 to 42. Yeah, 38 to the end of the chapter. It talks about it summarizes what we have studied by talking about the qualifications. Because how to gain this knowledge was talked about in 34, and the Jnana Stuti was done in 35 to 37, Jnana Stuti was done, and then 38 to 42, the various sadhanas are talked about here. Nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. So there is nothing more purifying. No more purifying than Atmajnanam. And then what do I need to do? I need to have Shraddha. Of all the things, Shraddha is highlighted. Because it says, Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. This is something to memorize. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. The one that has a trusting attitude, a reverence for this knowledge, definitely will gain Atma Jnanam. Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. So of all the things, one particular qualification is highlighted, knowing full well. Lord Krishna knows full well, if Shraddha abides in the heart, all the other things also will come. So all the other qualifications, all the qualifications are like noodles. You pick up one, you can't just eat one noodle because they're all sticky, right? Yeah, what are the noodles called? Maggi. Yeah, so you pick up one and 10, 11 of them come together. So here you pick up Shraddha and then Shamadama, Uparati, Titiksha, Samadhanam, Viveka, Vairagya, Mumukshutvam, all of them come along for free. But Shraddha, it is important to highlight because no Shraddha, no Jnanam. Shraddha means an open heart. Shraddha means the ability to give the benefit of doubt to the teachings and the teacher. Shraddha means the ability to dare to trust again after the trust has been repeatedly broken by every experience in my life. Shraddha means the ability to open the heart to let the knowledge in. So Shraddhavan labhate jnanam. Then supposing somebody says, I don't want to have Shraddha. I can't have Shraddha, what will happen to me then? That also is helpfully supplied. Ajnascha, that person is a permanent Ajna. Ajna means Ajnani. Ajnascha ashraddhadanascha samshayatma vinashyati. Samshayatma vinashyati. Samshayatma means the whole person is a big doubt. The whole person is a question mark. Okay? And is having doubts about everything. Doubts about oneself, doubts about the knowledge, doubts about Bhagavan, doubts about the teacher, endless doubts when? All the time. So such a person riddled with doubt, what happens to such a person? Such a mind meets with destruction. It's not about death. This destruction here doesn't mean death. Destruction means the person's chances of gaining the knowledge are destroyed. Verily destroyed. Samshayatma vinashyati. So na ayam lokaha, na paralokaha. So it's not. So here the person does not gain knowledge in this loka. That is so sad. And then at least if they had been a Vaidika, meaning had followed at least the first portion of the Vedas, and they had done whatever they needed to do, karma kanda, puja, this, that, meditation, yajna, etc., they would have been at least assured of a nicer life in the hereafter before taking another birth, before taking an auspicious birth, mind you, because they have done all auspicious things, that also they don't get. Neither in this life they are happy, nor in the afterlife they are happy because of this doubting Thomas, whatever attitude. Now, this is the conclusion of the 4th chapter. Now, there is an intriguing, what is that? Last verse. Let us chant that because it's a great segue to chapter 5. Tasmad ajnana sambhutam hritstham jnanasinatmanah chitvaivam samshayam yogam Atishtotishtha Bharata. Yeah. So, he concludes on a very interesting note. So, before we see the conclusion, let us see the summary of the whole thing. Verse by verse we will see. And then I will focus on the concluding verse because that is actually connecting to the chapter number 5. So, we have... if we discuss this chapter, we have verses 1 to 9. We have, not 1 to 9. Yeah, 1 to 9. We have Avataravada. Before Avataravada, this knowledge is also there, 1 to 2. Then 4 to 9, we have Avataravada. Then verses 9 to 15, we have the discussion of actionlessness. Actionlessness is something to know, not something to not do or to do. Actionlessness is achieved cognitively by understanding that no matter what I do, the Atma is what? Always free of action. Just because I am sitting and doing nothing doesn't mean I am not acting. Even by choosing not to act, I am acting, but then the Atma is always free of action, regardless of what it does or doesn't do. This was taught from verses, what did I say, till 9 to 15. 9 to 15, it was taught. Then, from 16 to, no, not 9 to 15. 9 to 15 is the, 9 to 15 is the, is how does the avatara live? 16 to 25 is actionlessness. Before that, how does the avatara, aka also jnani, how do they live? They live as akarta, abhokta. So the wise person lives as akarta, abhokta, eating whatever comes, yadrichha labha santushtah dvandvatito vimatsarah. Like this, eating whatever comes at hand and then being in one's own glory. That is 9 to 15. 16 to 24 is actionlessness, which we just talked about. That the nature of the Atma, even before gaining the knowledge, is what? Actionless. After the gaining the knowledge also it is actionless. This actionlessness is not opposed to doing action for in the life. Doing action, performing action in the life is what? Is the function of the body-mind-sense complex, and it is not contradicting the Atma's nature, which is to be actionless and which supports all action without trying to be any action in particular. It is actionless, therefore it can support all actions. Then 16 to 25, the discussion of action and inaction. And then 25 to 34, as we saw, the superiority of all sadhanas. And then 35 to 37, jnana phalam, what is the fruit of knowledge. 38 to 42, the qualifications gaining this knowledge. So now you can see it was a very complex chapter, so many topics. And then at the end, tasmat, the therefore is given. The therefore, ajnana sambhutam. Ajnana sambhutam means that which is born of ajnana. Ajnana sambhutam, that which is born of this ignorance. What is born of ignorance? This doubt about the self. The hritstham, samshayam, because this was told earlier, samshayatma vinashyati. So this samshaya, this distrust, which is what? What is the father and the mother of this distrust? Ignorance. Ignorance is the mother of distrust, is the father of distrust. Ignorance and distrust are closely related. Why? Because of self-ignorance there is distrust. The heart is hard. The hard heart does not let anything through. Even if it is beneficial to the heart, it does not let anything through. It's almost like all the jivas have an autoimmune disease. You know the meaning of autoimmune disease? Where the body attacks itself. Certain hormones attack themselves. The body attacks itself, and so here it's a whole enactment of a self-sabotage. So the knowledge which is one's own nature is fought tooth and nail. The ahankara and all the other mechanisms in the body-mind-sense complex attack this knowledge, even though what is this knowledge? It's not outside of me. It is myself alone. It's not coming from outside, even though it appears to be coming from outside. It has nothing to do with that. Still, I attack this knowledge because it's almost like everybody has a spiritual autoimmune disease. So the advice here is ajnana sambhutam samshayam. Where is this located? Hritstham, rooted in the heart. Hritstham, samshayam, ajnana sambhutam, they are all qualifying each other. And then jnana asina. Jnana asina. Asi is sword. With the help of the sword of knowledge, chitva enam samshayam. Cut out this doubt once and for all, rooted in the mind. And then what? Yogam atishtha. Atishtha means get ready. Get ready for what? Yogam. What is yogam here? Karma yogam atishtha. Get ready for karma yoga. And also get up from the chariot. Uttishtha. Because he was sitting down. He was not even sitting down. He was slumped down in the chariot due to sadness. Uttishtha. Uttishtha Bharata. And then after that what comes? Om Tat Sat Iti. Yeah, together. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturtho Dhyayah. Let's do that again, okay? Because it got all, became like noodles in the middle. Yeah. Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvade Jnana Karma Sannyasa Yogo Nama Chaturtho Dhyayah. So then, now what this was, here also the Bhagavad Gita could have concluded. Really, yes. Nice, 4 chapters, wonderful, But it doesn't. Why? Arjuna has a question. Yes, this is our go-to. Yes, Arjuna has a question, so it cannot conclude. Very good. Now, there is another reason why it cannot conclude, because Arjuna's mind is like the aforementioned noodles. Yeah, poor fellow is just completely confused. He was already confused in chapter 2, correct? But after listening to chapter 3, one would think that the confusion, he would have come out of confusion. But chapter 4 made him completely scattered all over again. The question is why? Because of 2 things. One is, he cannot distinguish between the lifestyle called sannyasa, which is called Sankhya Yoga. Sankhya Yoga Nishtha. Nishtha means lifestyle. Nitaram sthitihi nishtha iti uchyate. So he is completely confused because he cannot tell the lifestyle apart from the knowledge. So, sannyasa is a lifestyle. Taken for what purpose? To gain this knowledge. In fact, there are many kinds of sannyasa. We can have a discussion sometimes. It's a lot of fun. So, maybe tomorrow, okay, not today. Yeah. So, but 2 types we can discuss. One is called Vividisha sannyasa. Vividisha, like mumuksha, jigyasa, is a desiderative word. Desiderative means desire for. Veditum ichha vividisha. The desire to know is called vividisha. So sannyasa is taken with the desire to know. So if sannyasa is, if one takes recourse to a life of sannyasa with the desire to know, what does that mean? They don't know, correct? So then why are they choosing a life of sannyasa? They are choosing a life of sannyasa to not perform other roles in life. There's only one role. What is that role? Shishya. Shishya role is there, that's all. Shishya role is there, devotee role is there, that's all. No other roles. You don't have to earn money, and then you don't have to go and perform all these things. You don't have to be responsible for running a household. Running a household is not just money. You have to be there emotionally, you have to be there physically, you have to take care of whatever needs to be taken care of. And if you're a householder, no one is a householder. Everybody is house-held. Okay? Yeah, held by the house. If you're a householder, if you're house-held, what happens? Every time something falls apart, you have to take care of it. When do things fall apart? All the time. All the time. All the time things are falling apart. Something or the other is dripping, leaking. Something or the other is cracking. And something or the other is falling apart. So everything needs to be taken care of. That's a lot of things to do. Plus there are social obligations. So somebody comes to your yajna, this is ancient Vedic India. And then if you want people to come to your yajna and then partake of the annadanam that you are giving a donation, and so you want people to come and receive it, the only way you can ensure is how? You go to other people's yajnas. Otherwise no one will come to your yajna. You will be ostracized. So all this, coming, going and all these, what is that called? what is that called, where everybody takes a dish and collects potluck, all these potlucks and everything like that, and then all these things, it's just a terrible burden for the one, mind you, for the one who's prepared, for the mind who's already prepared for this teaching, and for the person who is able to let go of that lifestyle. If even an iota of desire for that lifestyle is there, then it is not recommended. Sannyasa is not recommended. That is what the 5th chapter is all about. It's a beautiful chapter. You are going to enjoy it thoroughly. So therefore, it is not recommended at all. Why is it not recommended? Because one will be a fish out of water. One will feel like running away on the 3rd day itself if one manages to make it that far. Yeah. One will feel like totally running away because the old life is calling. Oh, but you were complaining about it. Doesn't matter. Wherever I am, I complain. So it's okay. The old life has a few things. At least there is companionship. What companionship? You were complaining about all your friends. You said this one is a horrible gossip. You said the other one has too many airs. You said the third one is full of himself. And so what do you mean? That the companionship doesn't matter. At least once in a while, some time is passed. Here I don't know what to do with time. So time is eating me. And time doesn't get spent. Doesn't matter if I have to fix up the walls, fix up the leaky tap, fix up everything. At least some time is going. So I'm using up the time. So like this, you see, there has to be a certain kind of a readiness, even for the first type of sannyasa we are discussing, which is called vividisha sannyasa, veditum ichchaya, that which is taken because of veditum ichcha. So then, the other one is called Vidvat Sannyasa, the kind that Yajnavalkya wanted to go for. Yajnavalkya was already a knowledgeable person, but he wanted to go to the forest. Why? Because he just wanted to drop all the roles. In fact, the roles were dropping from him. We cannot even say he was wanting to drop the roles were automatically dropping from him. So he thought, what's the point of just continuing this facade? Let me just go and just live in my own glory. This is Vidvat Sannyasa. Now, Arjuna is not ready for either. This is what we have to understand. And Lord Krishna knows that. Arjuna is not ready for Vividisha Sannyasa. Why? Because even though he might have the desire for this kind of a sannyasa, the karmically also he is not ready. Karmically also he is not ready. Mentally also he is not ready. Because if mentally he was ready, he would have already said, why this war? 12 years he was in the forest, 13th year incognito somewhere, he would have said what? Why this war? Why bother about this war? Let me just go. There are so many gurus in the forest. Let me sit at one of their feet and forget about Duryodhana, Dushasana. But he woke up thinking about Duryodhana. And in fact, his japa was all about Duryodhana all day long. He didn't say Namaha, he said Swaha. That's what. So he was just, what to say? He was completely meditating in a bad way about Duryodhana all the time. Revenge was on top of his mind. Setting these people right was on top of his mind. Teaching these people a lesson was on top of his mind. For such people, neither Vividisha Sannyasa and of course Vidvat Sannyasa does not even apply. Why? Because they are not Vidvans. Vidvat Sannyasa is if you are a Vidvan. So they are not Vidvan. Vidvat Sannyasa does not apply. Neither for that matter, Vividisha Sannyasa applies. Veditum Ichha is there. The desire to know is there, but the Jignasa is weak. Jignasa is not strong enough to let one leave the house and leave that old lifestyle to which one has been terribly, terribly addicted. And so therefore, he is ready only for what? Karma Yoga. Karma yoga doesn't mean you don't study. Karma yoga means you study. In fact, he is getting it chapter by chapter, right there. Even without taking any kind of sannyasa, he is gaining the knowledge. He is getting the knowledge. This we have to appreciate. He is gaining the knowledge, right? Sitting right there, he is getting the knowledge. So this sannyasa is not for him because karmically he is not ready, mentally he is not ready. And then, so therefore he is ready only for karma yoga. So the knowledge is being given, and what is the lifestyle of a jnani is being given. And the jnani's lifestyle is very, very tempting for our Arjuna, who confuses the ashrama called sannyasa. Ashrama means lifestyle called sannyasa, which is the last ashrama. First one, brahmacharya, student life. Second one, grihastha, household. Third one, vanaprastha, forest dweller. And then fourth lifestyle, sannyasa. So he confuses the lifestyle called sannyasa for atmajnanam. He conflates the two together. Sannyasa and atmajnanam don't have anything to do with one another. In fact, even by leading the life of karma yoga, if you are committed to this knowledge, you can gain this knowledge. This is what Arjuna is told in the 5th chapter. You can gain this knowledge. And you can gain this knowledge, and then what? You can become a jnani. So the jnani and the sannyasi, what is the connection? No connection. The jnani has vairagya in her or his heart. The jnani has vairagya in her heart, in his heart. That means what? The heart is wearing orange dress. That's what. So this is an inner sannyasa. Sannyasa means tyaga. So the tyaga or the giving up, the renunciation, samyak nyasaha. Nyasaha means tyagaha. So the tyaga can be given up, the giving up can happen in two ways. One is the lifestyle. You can literally give everything up and then go to an ashram or go to a secluded place and live your life. This is called outer tyaga. And it is hoped that by the outer tyaga, the inner renunciation will come with the help of knowledge. So I help myself to outer tyaga in the hope of getting inner vairagya, which is very important for the sake of this knowledge. Or one can practice inner tyaga and not worry about what one is wearing outside or where one has to go outside. Outside you live a society life, but at the same time you have inner virakti. The example given is the lotus flower that rebuffs water and rebuffs all the sludge, dirt and dust, because it has small hairs on its surface like velvet, and so whatever you throw on it just slides off. The lotus is not living in the Himalayas. The lotus is living in sludgy waters. So this becomes a metaphor for samsara. The sludgy waters is in the samsara. So the lotus is a quintessential example of karma yoga, where nothing touches the lotus. So one grows internally to become the kind of person who is not at all touched by the afflictions of samsara, thanks to this knowledge. Because of the knowledge only one can be like that. And even before one develops vairagya, viveka, and then one does not change the lifestyle, one gains the knowledge and uses the lifestyle to grow to assimilating the knowledge as the truth of oneself. How to use the lifestyle? We have seen this before. Using the lifestyle means not taking on oneself as the agent of action. One does not take oneself to be the agent of action, and so therefore the agency is ascribed to Bhagavan. You drag in Bhagavan as a proxy actor, and then all agency is ascribed to Bhagavan, and because of which I am no longer the actor, Bhagavan is the actor, and the knowledge, the karma phala, not knowledge. Karma phala means the results of action come from who? Bhagavan, which is prasada. So I develop a demeanor of cheerful acceptance of whatever comes. Whatever comes, I learn to accept cheerfully, even though it is grating against my likes and dislikes. In this way, the likes and dislikes are tamed, and as one is getting emotional maturity by having vairagya for the result of action, by having vairagya and viveka to pursue this knowledge, then as this knowledge is dawning upon the mind, the one assimilates this knowledge while engaged in action. So this is the lifestyle the Lord recommends for him in the last verse of the 4th chapter, which makes Arjuna very, very confused. And this is true. People have a pet question that they keep asking again and again. And they feel shy about asking that also. So they keep changing the language and asking the question. As we will see, Arjuna's question, which was there in the 3rd chapter. What was the question in the 3rd chapter? Jyayasi chet karmanaste mata buddhir janardana tat kim karmani ghore mam niyojayasi keshava. So, if you think knowledge is superior, knowledge frees and karma binds, then why are you consigning me to a life of terrible karma of this war? This is not fair. You must not do this. Again, he is confusing the lifestyle for the knowledge. And then here, the same question comes. It is just putting on a different dress. That's all. It's the same question, like children are wearing costumes. This is the same question in a different costume. Then the same question is going to come at the beginning of verse number 12. It has also already undergone another costume change, and there he says, who is superior? The one who contemplates on the one that is free, on Brahman free of attributes, or the one who does puja to various deities? Who is superior? And then again in the 18th chapter, the same question comes, wearing the final and the newest costume. So this question is again the same question as was there in chapter 3. Let us see how cleverly it is worded. Om atha panchamodhyayah Arjuna uvacha Sannyasam karmanam Krishna Punaryogam cha shamsasi Yachreya etayor ekam Tanme bruhi sunishchitam. Yeah. So, now, O Krishna, hey Krishna, sannyasam shamsasi, punaha yogam cha shamsasi. First, what are you doing? You are praising karmanam sannyasam shamsasi. You are praising the renunciation of action. And then what are you doing? You are praising karma yoga also. Now, you need to tell me, out of the two, which one is going to take me to moksha? Which one is going to take me to moksha? Yat shreyah. Shreyas means moksha. Yat shreyah, which etayoho yat shreyah. Out of these two, which one is the taking me to moksha? Tat me bruhi sunishchitam. Sunishchitam means definitely. Having made up your mind, because Arjuna, when one is confused, one projects over the other person and thinks the other person must be confused. So Arjuna is transferring his own confusion to the Lord and saying, you seem to be not very clear about what you are favoring. I want to know one thing. Out of these two, you please make up your mind. Sunishchitam tanme bruhi. You please tell me definitely which one is going to liberate, and I want to follow that lifestyle. Very lovely chapter. We will see more tomorrow. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Harihi Om.